Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. And members, I have a soft spot for consumer protections, as I'm sure many of us do. And so whenever there's a new-ish product, we have to think about the unintended consequences. We have to think about who is its target audience, who will it be marketed towards more than others. And that's why I offered 2 amendments earlier this afternoon that came from the reptile section of Florida Bar. I'm not a lawyer, but I respect the reptile section and their consumer focus. And I also want to give a huge shout out to the Orange County Bar Legal Aid Society, who I've spoken to about this issue for over a year now, because these are the attorneys that have the front row to eviction court, to debt collection, to issues like bankruptcy. And so they see the current status quo on not just this program, but also other programs intersect between the landlord and tenant relationship. And I am concerned at a very foundational level that Florida doesn't have a strong tenants' rights structure whatsoever. In fact, based on just data from across the country, Florida has some of the most anti-tenant policies in the books. And you saw other amendments that were provided to try to change that. Security deposit limitations, helping to ensure that folks don't fall into a predatory scheme by having OIR oversight. I offered amendments that would make sure that fee can't be any number, that it has to match the administrative cost of such program, that it has to go to this program. And so I was very hopeful that, if we were going to see this bill again, as we did see it last year, that some of those other protections would be included. But unfortunately, that's not what happened. And I just have to lean on the expertise of not just my Legal Aid Society, but also myself as a renter. And we've all experienced rent increases. For those of us who are renters, it is out of control. And to create a new program that is going to be marketed towards people of low wealth and not have consumer protections, that is where my heart hurts, because I understand the point that security deposits are a barrier. Trust me, I'm a renter. I know that. But the reality is that when you are someone who is financially struggling, a payday loan might sound like a good idea until you get into that contract and you end up having huge interest fees and you can't pay it back. And so I'm just tired of profit-driven models that make money off the poor. And that's why consumer protections are important. That's why we have debate about interest rates on loan programs, because the people who carry the brunt of this are going to be those who don't have the ability to get out of it and who are going to potentially suffer more if we don't have protections in place. So that is the foundation of my opposition. I think the concept is fine. Texas has done it and has put protections. Without protections, members, we could come back here next year having to address these concerns, and I would just rather we deal with it now than later. And so for that, I appreciate the time, and thank you, Representative Mooney, for your leadership on it, for hearing us out on that, for accepting one amendment. We appreciate that, but I know the Senate will still debate this issue, and I'm just hopeful that we can get some of these other protections in, because I think they are in good faith offered and not designed to stop the program, just kind of put some of those protections around it. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.